281-558-KSEV is the phone number, 281-558-KSEV. I got Michael on the line. Michael, what do you want to say?
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good. How are you doing?
Good. In the interview last night, President Trump mentioned numerous times, as he does every day, that the 2020 election was rigged and stolen. I mean, we all know that between the Italian satellites, between the African-American woman in Atlanta passing the thumb drive to one another. We know Dominion machines were flipping votes. You know, it was clearly rigged and stolen. So now that Trump has been in office for almost a year, how come there's no investigations and no arrests taking place?
Let me ask you this, Michael. What is the intention of calling into the show today to talk to me and then say the thing the way you're saying it? Are you trying to trap me in some sort of version of a statement that you don't agree with? Like, I honestly want to know. Here's a couple. Thank you for pausing. Here's a couple of reasons why I asked that. The first reason is that the 2020 election is long over. DeSantis, when he ran for president and obviously failed,
tried to say... Why does Trump bring it up 100 times a day?
I can answer that, but please let me finish my statement first. DeSantis, when he ran for president, tried to say that this is old news. This doesn't matter anymore. Let's go ahead and move on. So there's a large majority of the country that doesn't need to relitigate 2020 any longer. If your specific Trump hatred makes you upset that he still wants to relitigate it, I wonder why you're not upset that Hillary Clinton still talks about the 2016 election as being stolen from her, which she still does, by the way, too. But that's not the point, because that's avoiding your question. That's not answering it.
Did she concede?
She did concede, but that's avoiding your question, not answering it. I'm going to answer your question.
Did Trump?
I'm going to answer your question, which is something different. In my opinion, and I believe in the president's opinion, the way that the election was quote-unquote stolen was legal. It shouldn't have happened in the 2020 election, as you and I know, because of COVID.
What Trump is saying?
Okay, hold on. All right, I'm going to put him on hold now because Michael's being very disrespectful. Michael, I'll let you jump back in a second, but right now, nobody can hear you. In my opinion, and in, I believe, the president's opinion, what is actually occurring is that a lot of the legal things that happened in certain parts of the country, and I only call them legal because places like Illinois, where I was living at the time, did things completely inappropriate to their own state's constitution. They're like, we're going to change laws. We're going to let a lot more people mail in ballots than we ever do before, and we're not going to let our legislature vote on this. We're just going to call it an emergency situation. And me, as your governor, Governor Pritzker, I'm going to change rules and do things in the last minute that's going to have a disproportionate impact on the actual election. President Biden got more votes than any president in the history of our country in that year. And there's no fathomable way that you would believe that he'd actually have gotten the votes if they hadn't changed the rules, if they hadn't profoundly changed all of those different systems in all of those different places to make mail-in balloting a much more, significant impact portion of how people actually, got elected anywhere in a lot of places in the country. And the other thing, too, is they didn't have the infrastructure to do it fairly. Places like Arizona that are used to mail-in balloting for a long time have a more developed system to handle false votes than places like Illinois do. And I've said this a ton of times on the radio everywhere I've been, including this station and whenever I fill in anywhere else. Can't you easily believe, and this is for the people on the left like Michael, who I'm going to bring back on the show in just a second, can't you easily believe that somebody, say a mom of 4, got some ballots sent to her house, she saw the names of her kids on them who were old enough to vote but not really planning on voting, and went ahead and filled out all 4 ballots and sent them back? That's actually illegal. That's actually voting for other people in something you shouldn't do. But the fact that they made it that easy, that they proactively tried to seek mail-in balloting in a bunch of places throughout this country, is one of many ways that election was ridiculous. Now, Trump goes as far as to say it was fraudulent. Trump goes as far as to say there are other things that took place that may or may not. And there's certain court cases that seem to demonstrate that maybe there's some truth in some of those things. But nonetheless, it has never gotten to the point where it's actually been revealed that it was a mass, corruption scheme. And I hope it still does. We still got 3 more years of Trump in office. So, Michael, I'm going to bring you back on the air now. I feel like the confidence you have in your voice might change if we get more information down the road. But anyway, and the biggest point I'm trying to make is 2020 is over. It is 2025. Do we need to keep talking about this, even if Trump keeps bringing it up? Do we need to keep talking about it Because I would say that Biden, Obama, every president had things that they were obsessed about, that they talked about all the time, that people on their side of the aisle would scratch their heads and be like, you know what? I'm good with just moving on from this. Yet you can't seem to let this one go. Michael, what do you want to say in response to that?
Boy, you're really crappy at turd shining. That was a horrible explanation. Do you think 95%?
I'm going to let you go. I tried to let him back on, and the guy is so utterly disrespectful. He's such a piece of crap in how he wants to talk about this. I'm willing to have a back and forth with anybody, people who want to disagree with me. But, saying that I'm terrible at explaining stuff, this guy's an idiot, and I'm good with that. And Michael, I don't know why you got to do it that way. To be honest, people might respect you more if you try to be more respectful about it. Let's go to Steve. Steve in Arizona, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm thinking that I wish we could select a location and build